What's up, you guys? It's your boy Dr. Chris coming at you tonight. We're going to hit on probably the hottest topic in all of men's health, and I'm sure you already know what we're talking about here, and that's testosterone. Most importantly, low testosterone, and what is the number one way that you can naturally increase your own testosterone production and secretion. Now let me just start by saying, if you don't have any idea of what testosterone is, then there's a pretty good chance you probably are experiencing low testosterone levels. No, in all seriousness, testosterone is the male reproductive hormone that we naturally produce, we naturally secrete as needed. It's what's responsible for basically making men men. It gives us the deeper voice, it gives us the muscle mass in the areas that we gain muscle mass in. It's responsible for the facial and the body hair, and all of those things, again, that are making men men. Now, after about the age of 30, 35, we start to see a natural decrease in testosterone production. So that's when that whole dad bod things begins to set in, because with lower levels of testosterone, we start to see increased body fat, especially in those areas that are unflattering. So man boobs become something that a lot of guys deal with. That increased girth around, the spare tire. You get the lower abdominal body fat, the love handles on the low back, all those flattering areas, of course, that men definitely don't want to be gaining fat in. So that's one of the most noticeable, physically noticeable things that happens. But the non-physical things that we start to experience is there's an increase in things like feelings of depression, lower energy levels, certainly a lower libido or lowered sex drive. In terms of bone structure, we begin to see a decrease in bone density, which can lead to obviously issues in and of itself with fractures and things of that nature. And those are pretty much the most commonly associated with low testosterone. Of course, there are testosterone replacement therapy out there, or hormonal replacement therapy, where you're basically going to be injecting exogenous, synthetically produced testosterone to help increase your level of. So if you're bringing it into the body, then the body doesn't have to produce its own testosterone. Usually what happens when you do that, though, the little bit that the body may be producing is basically going to begin to shut off, and you're not going to get any production on your own. So kind of once you start down that path of the TRT or the HRT, then you're more or less going to have to stay on that, because your body's own production is going to kind of wane away. So you will get that whole experience beginning to occur. So then, is there anything that we can do to naturally help increase our body's production? It's a tough one. I don't think there's any miracle, despite what infomercials and commercials with Frank Thomas and it was Doug Flutie, I think is another one, and Andy Van Slyke. Those are the guys, the Nugenics. Despite what those commercials lead you to believe, a lot of the natural herbal-based test boosters that are on the market, I'm going to be completely honest with you, are just a complete waste of money. If they do increase testosterone levels in the body, it's going to be so minuscule that it's not going to make any discernible change. Some people swear by it. If you got extra money and you want to spend it on that, who am I to tell you not to go for it? I think you would be much better suited to use the money that you were going to spend on that and get yourself a gym membership, which segues us right into my number one tip for increasing your body's own natural testosterone production, and that's to lift weights, and to lift heavy weights. Now, what I mean by heavy, let me explain it. Heavy is a relative term. Time and time again, when I start talking to guys about this, or even talking to females about lifting weights, they're like, well, I can't lift weight. Heavy for me is like 10-pound dumbbell. Heavy is a relative term. What's heavy to me might not be heavy to you. What's heavy to you might not be heavy to me, but heavy for you. So my rule of thumb for trying to decide, what it is that you need to be working out with, I stay in about the 65 to 80% of my 1 rep max. That's my working sets. That's what I do my sets with. Is I start at 65% of my max, I go to 70%, 75%, and my last set, which will be my lowest reps, but it's going to be my heaviest set, will be 85% of my 1 rep max. Now you can go out and try to max out after you warm up and you've been training for a period of time, but you know, you're going to have a pretty good understanding as to what you should be working with. I usually do sets of 10 my first set, 8 my second set, 6 my third set, and 4 reps on my last. So you should be, if you're doing a set of 10, 10 should be all you can get. The next set, you're going to increase the weight, you're going to do 8 reps. That 8th rep should be all you can get. You can't really do any more unless you had a spotter and somebody pushing you through it. It's the last that you can get on your own, under your own power, without any assistance from anybody. Same on that third set, you should get 6. Same on the fourth set, get 4. Now, in addition to lifting heavy weights, I think it's most important to incorporate compound movements and compound exercises into your routines. And by that, there's 4 specific lifts, 4 specific exercises that I think are a must in order to increase natural testosterone production. Now, the important thing about these compound exercises is they're going to work the entire body. They're working more than just one muscle group at a time. So those 4 are the deadlift, which I think is hands down probably the quintessential lift in terms of helping you to increase testosterone production. 2 would be the squat, 3 would be the bench press, and then 4, one that's not often mentioned that I think is crucial, is a overhead standing barbell press. And so it's going to be the military press overhead standing. And I think it's important that we do it standing because as we're standing, we're going to utilize the legs. We're going to utilize a lot more of the core than what we would if we were on the bench and lifting overhead that way. So it's going to incorporate more muscle groups. So compound exercises are going to work more than one muscle group, to whereas an isolative exercise like a bicep curl is just going to work the biceps. Tricep extensions are only going to be hitting the triceps. So while those are important to add into your workout routines, get those compound exercises in there. And obviously you're not going to do more than one compound exercise on a given day. So on back day, you're going to do deadlifts. Shoulders, you're going to do the overhead press. Arms, you know, hey, just do your arm workout. But legs, you're going to do squats. And on chest, you're going to do the bench press. And by lifting those heavy weights, you're going to force the body into producing more testosterone, secreting more testosterone, and your natural serum levels of testosterone will increase. So I think lifting weights, lifting heavy weights with compound exercises is your best bet in terms of naturally helping to increase testosterone production. We're going to cover a lot more little tips that you can do, like dietary things and sleep and all the different things that you can add into the mix. But we're going to start with the number one way, and the number one way is to lift heavy weights. Now, before you start lifting weights, if you're not lifting weights now, obviously you got to work yourself into it. So get yourself a trainer. First and foremost, speak with your healthcare provider. Make sure that you're physically able to start lifting weights and things like that. There's no, contraindications that would prevent you from it. I'm not your healthcare provider. I don't know you personally. So always, get signed off on it before you start training by your healthcare provider, whoever that is. And if you are completely new to it, the complete, Arnold's Complete Guide to Bodybuilding, I think is the name of it, or to Modern Bodybuilding, the Complete Guide to Modern Bodybuilding, is a great place to start. It's very simple. It's a huge book, but it's got every conceivable type of weight training exercise in it. It covers, dietary stuff, supplements, the whole 9. But it's a great place to start. There's tons of great videos on YouTube showing you how to work out. But the best bet is get yourself a good trainer. Most gyms have trainers available. If not, I'm sure you can do a Craigslist search and probably find more trainers in your area than you even care to know about. But be safe about it. You want it to be something that you can engage in like I have for pretty much my entire life. I've been lifting for over 30 years now, and I haven't had any serious injuries. A few aches and pains along the way, but no serious injuries during that time, and I've always pushed myself pretty hard in the gym. So make sure you're doing it right, but I promise you, if you will add heavy compound movements into your weight training, if you're already training, if you're not, then just lifting weights in and of itself is going to help you tremendously. But I think that's going to be your best bang for your buck in terms of naturally helping you to increase testosterone levels. So there you have it, guys. I love you. We're on day 3 of our contest prep, actually fully day 2. So we'll do maybe a video update on how that's going. We're still 13 weeks out. We got this week, the rest of this week, 12 more weeks before showtime. NPC, Upstate Classic, Spartanburg, South Carolina. We're coming for you. Haven't decided if we're going to do open bodybuilding, men's physique, whatever the board short thing is. Well, that's men's physique. Classic physique is the one I was thinking of. But we haven't decided yet. But we're going to do something, and it's going to be the old man category because we're a bunch of old men at this point. So we're keeping the dream alive, baby. We're doing it, and we're going to do it even better. So until next time, guys, you know I love you.